And we're live to review Headhunter. And I've just remembered that a little summary. Right. Or rather feel like it's best. Right then. Synopsis. Right, it's a little dark here. I'll just open the curtain a little. Throw some light on the subject. Right. Hopefully I don't get too tongue-tied. Tarrant and Villa travel to Pharos in response to a call from a former pupil of Ensor's. Ensor invented Aurak. Former pupil of Ensor's named Muller, who wishes to leave the robot development cartel for which he works. Muller, which is German for Miller. Muller teleports up to Scorpio with Tarrant. However, he becomes violent when he discovers that Tarrant has also brought up with him a sealed box that was in Muller's room.
Is it actually Muller with an R?
It's M-U-L-L-E-R.
Okay. See, I never heard it that way. It always sounded like Muller, like it ended with an A-H.
Did I?
Which I think was like, if I remember right, some sort of religious designation.
Oh, so nothing to do.
That's what I thought of it the whole time.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Villa strikes Muller with a wrench and apparently kills him. Slave becomes rebellious when Villa attempts to investigate the contents of the box. When Aurak warns the others on the base not to allow teleport contact with Scorpio, the ship's life support systems are mysteriously cut off, forcing Dana and Sulin to go up to their ship to rescue their comrades. Muller seemingly returns to life and teleports down to the base. The crew discover that Muller is in fact an android, which decapitated its creator and took his head as a disguise. In the box is the android's real head, which contains an inhibitor system. The android wishes to join with Aurak and become the master of the human race. The crew lure the android out to a metal footbridge, which they have electrified using an abandoned power station, and shock it into immobility long enough for them to put the inhibitor head on it. Against Avon's wishes, Tarrant and Dana destroy the android with explosives. Right then. So what did you think?
So, as I said while we were watching it, it had the feel of a Doctor Who story, which is a compliment coming from me because I like Doctor Who. You had a slow-moving monster, and the characters thinking of having to use their brains to think of a way to thwart it. Establish the American-British disconnect with me thinking the dude's name was Muller, because every time anyone said his name, that's how they said it. So I didn't know it was Muller with an R. That made it funnier to me because I remember it being some sort of religious title. So I figured it was some sort of reference to something. But anyway, I liked the fact that there was not just contrived conflict between the crew members, where at the end, they were genuinely like sort of against each other. They were together, they were with each other, and that realizing that they had a common enemy in the android dude, the way he was at least. But they were obviously opposed in terms of Avon wanted to keep the android with the head or whatever, whereas the others didn't, or at least Dana and Tarrant didn't.
When I first, just a slight interruption. When I first heard that, I was on Avon's side, but maybe that's an NT Promethean thing. The audacity to steal.
Well, in a way, I sort of was too, in the sense that now, of course, Avon gives a lot of respect to Aurak. And Aurak, I don't think, had told Avon the same thing he told the others. So if he had heard that first, he might have had a different viewpoint. okay, yeah, there's reason to believe that this might be a dangerous thing, but on the other hand, you might at least give it a try. So
Yeah, because they are in
that
trouble.
was kind of my
The Blake 7 crew.
Yeah, it seems like you don't jump to a conclusion because, like I've said before, it fulfilled the continuing theme on Blake 7, which is if there's a character that's useful to them, then they end up getting killed. So once again, that occurs. Not only the original person they were after, but the android he created too. So, yeah, there were certain elements of it that reminded me of the Doctor Who story Robot. Obviously, there were quite a few differences, but and they never showed like the robot's point of view like they did with the Doctor Who story. But yeah, there was different elements working at the same time. I like things when there's sort of different perspectives and they're showing different characters sort of how they're perceiving the same thing. Like you had Sulin, who we really don't know that much about still, other than that she's good at shooting people. She sort of has to be proactive in one scene in terms of she does what Orac wants her to do. She didn't necessarily have to do that, obviously, but she's independent enough to not orders all the time. And you had, sort of dynamics switching up where you have one scene where Dana and Villa have to, do something together, and other scenes where it's Tarrant and Dana, Tarrant and Villa, whatever, sort of combinations of people, and then Sulin and, so they sort of did teamwork, but within sort of the buddy system. They had two people doing stuff together, and so yeah, it kept my interest throughout, and there were still some kind of oddities about it, as you pointed out yourself right after we got done watching the episode about exactly what made sense about the designing the robot that way and the stuff with the head. But it's enjoyable enough that I don't necessarily have to pick at those things too much and just be like, for whatever reason. I mean, the dude was probably a little bit off his rocker, which they've encountered plenty of characters like that.
Yep.
So it's not surprising they would run into another one that didn't exactly think through logically his designs or his future plans. So
yeah, maybe he thought that's the most efficient way to design it, to put the head on top, to put it in there.
But at the end of the last episode, Ben told me that that it gets better from here, and after seeing this one, I can have some hope that he might be right about that, because this one was significantly more enjoyable than the last few episodes.
So far in this season, what do you think of Paul Darrow's performance, the style of his performance compared to previous seasons?
Well, there was one episode where he was really bad. I wouldn't say bad in terms of overall bad performance, but it really seemed like he was kind of hamming it up for no particular reason. I don't know if that director told him to do that or whether that was his idea, but it was just sort of like he was just a little too over dramatic for no real good reason. I think that was the one we watched when my brother was watching it. I don't remember the name of it now, but it's going blank. But
Traitor?
He was a little too maybe. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, he was a little too Captain Kirkish in that episode. I think I said at the time, like, seemed like he's turning to the camera and doing dramatic monologues and stuff.
I think that's more like your natural personality of Paul Darrow. Whereas when he went, like the first two seasons of Blake 7 is like the way, like his manner is more reserved and he is more INTJ-ish. Whereas in like seasons 3 and 4, it's like he's more flamboyant, he's more expressive than a INTJ, and he's sort of more of his own personality comes across, I think.
And another, Doctor Who reference, the same was said about Tom Baker, when he played the Doctor, that as he played the character that, when he got to about season 17, restrained by the director and the producers, they kind of let him do more of kind of what he wanted to do, which ended up kind of sillier. And that when John Nathan Turner came as producer, part of what he tried to do was kind of rein in Tom Baker a little bit and make him a little more serious again. So in the final season, he was a little bit less goofy.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. I thought his performance was pretty good in season 18.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that, but I think Paul Darrow's. I much preferred his performance in season A and B, and he did sort of get a bit hammier, a bit bigger. His performance in.
I would say that about everybody was better in that. Other than, I mean, I guess Villa, because it was at the third season, I guess, when he finally had an episode that was sort of centered around him. So I mean, he wasn't too bad in that, but overall, I think not as tight a production as it started out as, including the acting performances.
Yeah, I mean, because.
But part of it, I don't blame the actors entirely, because I believe that, again, that some of that is writing and directing. I have a show that seems more coherent and more purposeful, then your acting is going to sort of reflect that too. And when you're sort of all over the place with the way the show is going, then the acting is also going to follow suit.
Right, I won't name the episode, but the Doctor Who story that Paul Darrow was in, he was asked about the way he performed in it, and he said he hammed it up because the script was shit.
Yeah, and obviously some actors will do that, and that was sort of Tom Baker's excuse to go back to that. And the story like the Horns of Nymon.
Yeah, that was a bad story.
Where he basically said, "Well, what else did you want me to do with that crap?" Was kind of the way he looked at it, like, I'm going to have fun as long as this is what I'm doing, so.
But I think the problem with that story was, just a slight digression, folks, is that the production values, it just went below an actual point where it went below a certain threshold of, like, this is unacceptable. With the way the Naaman were designed. And then also Graham Crowden's performance as Soldeed. That was
pretty much the low point of Tom Baker's time as the Doctor, I think. But thankfully, like you said, in his final season, things got a little better for a while. So he actually went out with a better than.
I think it would have been an okay story if it was better produced and acted. Horns of Nymon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's things you could have done with it to make it better. It wasn't. It's better than Kenda.
Ooh. Talking of, have you actually?
It wasn't that bad.
Have you actually watched Sharda, or heard Sharda?
Yes, I watched the version of it that they sort of they're filling in the gaps of things that weren't actually filmed. So yeah, I did see that.
Right. Right then. Anything else to say before we move on to the maximum power guide entry?
No, seems fine to go ahead and do that.
What does Morgan think of it?
Well, he's not here, but
right.
When the comments he made while watching it seemed to indicate that he with me in terms of it being more enjoyable than the last few.
Yeah.
So, he's still he apparently now, in addition to hating Tarrant, also hates Dana now at this point. He's ready to kept saying he wanted people to kill her too. So.
Right. Yeah, I don't remember Tarrant being this bad, but so far he's been a bit of a donut as Tarrant. He's been given a bad name to SPs.
Man, well, that's plenty. I can't say. There's plenty of SPs that give a bad name to SPs. I'll just put it that way. That's not a unique thing to Tarrant. There's plenty of problems with.
There's an episode coming up that might make Morgan's head explode.
Okay. we'll
Right.
see.
Okay. Now, if I do it like this, I don't know if you can see it all. Or do I need to be? Do you need me to zoom in a little bit?
I think I can read it. I don't know the names well enough to know if they put any fake cast members in that guest star list, because none of them stand out to me.
Right. So if you read it out, then the audience will know the bit that you're laughing at, I suppose.
Okay. So I guess you don't know either on the guest stars?
Oh, you want to know about the fake cast member? Okay, let's have a look. Right. We've got John Westbrook there, so he's real. Linda Bellingham's real. Douglas Fielding, is he there?
Yep.
Nick Joseph, is he there?
Mm-hmm.
Leslie Nunnery?
Yep. Another one you haven't said is Andrew Cable as guard.
Maybe, I don't know who Andrew Cable is.
So they fooled us by not putting a fake one in, probably. All right.
Well, maybe the Andrew Cable is because in that book it actually lists the uncredited cast as well in the Liberation book. So.
Yeah, you just described the story was pretty weak. It just says a straightforward pickup job. You said the last words go, they're not likely to be famous. Okay. And try not to be stupid. Maybe that should have been describe the story. I don't get the Blake's Steve 7 and
You don't. There's a movie called Seven, and it was described as the Head in the Box movie. It had Morgan Freeman in it and Brad Pitt. And
I mean, I heard of it, but I never saw it. So.
Oh, about 1995. Oh no, I spoiled the ending for you then. Sorry. It's a good film.
That's all right. I probably won't for another 50 years. So. Tarrant and Villa have been sent by Avon to collect the Muller from his temple. It's just kind of ridiculous, the slave computer thing. I'm already tired of that. I really was after like the first episode, but at least like in the first one it was sort of amusing, but I got to like kind of go nuts a little bit, so that was a little bit better, but it's embarrassing every time that they seriously turn and say slave to the computer. I mean, it's just whoever's idea that was, just come on. All it did was provide him with that line about his chains. It was like, was it all just set up for that?
I don't know.
Turns out Muller's not Muller at all. Muller hugging Looney with a head in a box. Why does Darrow pronounce money like that? I don't remember how he pronounced it, so. There was something, now I can't remember what it was. There was something somebody pronounced weird, but at the time I was like, is that a British thing or is that just that person? But now I can't remember what it was, so. Oh well. Muller calls Scorpio. By this time, he's presumably had his head cut off. How is he talking? The robot can't speak without sounding like Metal Mickey. Yeah, once again, Sulin looks lovely with her hair like that, yeah. This was cricket commentator Brian Johnston's favorite episode, Blake said. I don't know if that's a joke.
I don't know either.
Or what. Because obviously I know nothing about cricket commentators. All right, next page. I don't really get what they're saying about Villa whacking him too hard.
Well, because they're saying that the head was balanced on top. If it had hit him, his head might have fallen off. You know, the human's head on top of the robot.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Okay.
But we don't know how the robot fixed it on. We don't know what was.
Right.
You know, we can assume some sort of
Don't
sciencey thing.
Don't know what a right Burke is. Is that like just another way of saying jerk?
A Burke. Well, Burke is from Berkshire, and Berkshire Hunt rhymes with something. But a Burke, yeah, Burke is a bit of a fool. Yeah, in that context. Tarrant comes across as a right fool yet again, as he checks for Muller's pulse. Yeah, that was true. Avon looking towards Sulin to comfort Muller's wife.
Yeah, I don't even really remember that, but Muller Light and Muller Fruit Corner.
Yeah, they're yogurts in the UK. Or rather, well, German yogurts sold in the UK.
Oh. See, I thought they were making a joke on Miller Lite, the beer. Yeah, I disagree that on the thing about Grumpy Slave is great fun. I don't think the slave things. But
I like Sloth. But you know, just an opinion.
as we've established, you're free to like bad things.
Yes, I am.
Sulan's so masterful with Aurak. Yeah. There are things about Sulan are probably the funniest thing in here so far because they're just like obsessed with her or whatever. She's got a pretty nice looking face. I'll say that for her. Linda Bellingham is hugged to death. Yeah, everybody, like, there were multiple people hugged to death in this. So it's another Doctor Who callback because Pyramids of Mars featured mummies hugging people to death.
Yeah.
And I think this one I'm giving a higher rating to than Pyramids of Mars, too. So.
Ooh.
Another, Doctor Who story that's not as good. So I don't always rate Doctor Who above like 7. Avon's urgent task brilliantly is to get changed out of that absurd spacesuit. Yeah. Yeah. Burt joke removed.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I think they're trying to make a sexual joke, I believe.
Yeah, well, I know that much, but
well, I don't know. I don't know how you would need it explained to you then, Ben. Pretty obvious.
all right.
Anyway, Muller should have really asked someone else to design his android head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, probably.
There's one more. One more.
But then again, the average person probably doesn't know how to design android heads. So.
Yeah, here we go.
I don't know who Omics is.
Oh, that's funny to Omics because it's the fact that the you know it was though the ones in power. You know they were had the Northern leader in them and he got killed by Dana, I think.
Oh, was that the Viking-like guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They probably weren't smart enough to work it out.
Well, yeah, they are. They sort of established why they didn't, because they kept the leader guy. So
Yeah.
They're really picking at the head thing.
Yeah.
It's a TV show, folks. Come on. I mean, if you want to get that picky, we can go back to previous episodes and find all sorts of things. Yeah, I don't understand why she blew the bridge up either. That was kind of weird. Yeah, lucky it just didn't blow the head up. Yeah, that would have been the ultimate irony ending. You know, it blows up the head, but then the rest of it comes back to life. It would have been more like Fantasia, where, you know, Mickey tries to kill the brooms and then they multiply. Accept your domination, Sulan. Yeah, Aurak was a bit weirder than usual in this episode, but the circuits were messed with was the excuse they gave to let that one go a little weird.
It's just fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was actually kind of a pretty risque line, actually, when Sulan said you wouldn't know where to start after they said we fulfill your every desire. I liked it, though. Just...
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that thunderclap was a bit weird.
And it made it a little bit, you know, like old school horror movie-ish, you know? Got the head in the box with the thunder, you know. So that was kind of...
Yeah, I mean, Morgan pointed out that sort of like Tarrant just randomly picked the box up.
Yeah, you have that melodrama, you know, element to it, like, you know, don't pick up the box, don't pick up. Oh, you picked up the box. It's like they needed to put something on the box that said, don't touch this, you know, just to add for added effect, you know, of them touching the thing they're not supposed to touch. Especially don't bring it with you on your ship. Bad idea.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying it when I first watched it because of the mystery element of what was going on.
Yes, I didn't really think it was that mysterious, but because they made it enough interesting conflict going on that it was enjoyable anyway, without there being a whole lot of mystery.
It's really like the mystery was what's in the box.
I don't think too much. Like in the boxes, I mean, I figured it out at some point, but it basically was like really that specifically isn't that important, other than just we know it's not anything good. The problem on trying to do stuff with it. But yeah, in a way, it's sort of a nice twist in that it's like you think, well, the box itself is the problem, or what's in the box. In a sense, you could say that what's in the box is the solution as opposed to the problem.
Mm. Yeah.
I can get with you there.
So, when I first watched this, I would have given it like a 9 or a 10. But the problem with the head, like making like the head believable. I mean, if they could have just done the thing like the head is holographic or something, or some way to cover that as a line that the head was sort of like animatronic, because they've already established that. So because we've had androids before, like Vinny in Death Watch, the one that killed Tarrant's brother, Dieter. So But you see, so you could say that the robot sort of made its own head, or maybe what they could have done is the android could have taken the head off another android and used that. So
I think in the last like season and change, the show has seemingly gotten more kid showish. Difference in this one is that it was done in a way that was more enjoyable. So that's the thing, is that I guess because the overall tone has become that way, I'm not picking at as much stuff in terms of serious like technical flaws and things. It's just a matter of whether it's boring or whether it keeps my interest.
Oh yeah, I mean, apart from the stuff with the technical aspects of the head, it was an interesting story, and I'll probably give it about an 8, a 7 or an 8.
And I would say, and I rate just on overall enjoyment of the episodes, and I give it a 6. So
it's quite high for you.
So the last time I gave anything higher than a 6 was back in the 2nd season, so it's been a while. And only a few have gotten the 6. But this
Did
one
you give?
I think the last one I gave a 6 before this was the City on the Edge of the World one.
Right.
City at the Edge of the World, yeah.
What did you give Countdown, the one with Provine in?
I think I actually gave that one an 8. I'm pretty sure that was the highest rating I've given. So.
Right then, so I think that's about it.
Another one I gave like a 7.5. I think that might have been the with you referenced last time with the girl worshipping Avon. I think I gave
Deliverance.
That. Yeah.
Lord Avon, she called him. But so I think that's about it. The next one, I don't know what you'll make of the next one. You might love it, or you might not.
That's called Assassin, right?
Yep, that's called Assassin.
All right. Well, once again, they'll probably be let down by the title. Because Morgan and I both said Headhunter should just be Sue Lin going around shooting people, and it wasn't. So we'll amend that. Even though he's not here, I'll speak for him and say that Assassin should also be Sue Lin going around shooting.
Well, she is a big part.
Assassinating.
She is a big part of the episode.
All right.
Right. So, bye-bye, folks.
Bye.